For meditators, I need you to understand this very, very clearly. You see, Viriya doesn't, in itself, it doesn't take you into Nibbana, in itself, by itself. But without Viriya, without this step, it's impossible to penetrate, to go through, okay? So you have to understand how to do this correctly. These are the 4 right strivings. What for? A bhikkhu generates desire. You want it. You generate. It is created. You want for the non-arising of bad, unwholesome states which are not there. Meaning to say, if in your mind there is no negativities, no unreason, bad, unwholesome state, you must want not for them to come up. The word here is you generate desire for non-arising, right? Generate desire for non-arising. You must want for them not to come up, okay? And you see what he went on to say. Make effort, arouses energy, applies the mind, strive. You make an effort is the start point. To arouse energy requires a bit more effort. You remind yourself, applies the mind, and you try and you try and you try. It's not easy. Basically, this point tells you, in order to avoid negativity from coming up, you've got to put in a lot of effort. From start point to the end. You must want to do it. You must put effort to do it. In the midst of it, you need to remind yourself, and you've got to constantly remember. Not easy. And this is the first of 4 efforts. So when we talk about Viriya, it is to achieve this. It is to achieve the state of mind where it is clean. So you make every attempt to make sure that the negativity that's not there stays not there. Part 1. If it has already surfaced, so that's the next one. A reason, bad, unwholesome state came up already, you're too late. If it's already there, you generate desire for letting it go, abandoning it. So you think about it, right? There are times when you can't help but be angry. Can't help but be angry. And then you let yourself be angry. That's the trouble. You can't help but be angry is the first one. It came out. It's not there, but you let it come out. Then now that it's there and you are aware, what did you do? You let it stay. That's the problem. Same thing. You may not have greed for something. It didn't cross your mind that thing you want. Then you suddenly say, hey, I want it. The greed has a reason. I want it. But instead of telling yourself, jam it there, stop it there, let it go there, you went, I want, I really want, I must now figure out how to want it, get it. By generating desire, what it means is it's your choice. You can choose to do it, or you can choose not to do it. You choose to do it, you have to put in a lot of effort to make sure that you're on the right track. That's what it means. And Buddha recognizes it's very difficult. That's why he used so many words to say from beginning to the middle to the end, you ngi lai. You generate desire is the beginning. You apply the effort is the middle. You strive is the end, all the way. You apply the mind. You want it. You apply your mind. Okay? All these things are there. That's the bad one. Now comes the good. These are mental states. By the way, the word unwholesome is also called skillful. Skillful. Kusala, akusala. Kusala, wholesome. It's also skillful. Why skillful? You tell me. Is it easier to give in to your craving or fight it? Clearly, fighting craving is harder than giving in to craving. So it takes more skill to overcome negativity instincts. It takes more skill. In that sense, something kusala is skillful. Something akusala is unskillful. It's easy. You want to just eat and eat and eat, very easy. Well, just walk to the kitchen and eat, get the food and eat. That's easy, ma? Now, the next one says, you generate desire for the arising of unarisen wholesome state. Meaning to say, the kusala, the skillful states are not there, you want them to come up. You generate desire for them to come up. And if you find that your mind has giving, your mind is full of metta, your mind is full of compassion, these are all wholesome states, then you want them to proliferate. You generate desire for the persistence of the arisen wholesome state. So the wholesome states, the skillful states, if they are already there, proliferate. If you have got metta, bring up the metta. If you have karuna, compassion, bring up the compassion even more, proliferate. If you have giving in your heart, give. These are powerful, joyous states. If you have a mind that is quiet, that is still, keep it still. Okay, this is the usual, typical explanation for viriya, right striving. But this is just one of them. It's the second one that is even more interesting. This is in Anguttara Nikaya, Book of 4, under Striving, page 401, Bhikkhu Bodhi's book. The thick book. It is so thick, I actually used it for carrying weight at one stage. For practicing weight. How many kilo? I think maybe 4. 4 kilo, very good. I can practice more. Okay? This is the one that I need to draw your attention to. This particular version is not often seen, but this version is very powerful for the practice. Okay? You look at the words, the first one, samvera. This is a correlation of the previous one. Remember what I said? For a mental state that is unwholesome, not there, you keep it out. Just now earlier, right? If it's not there, you don't let it come up. If it's already there, get rid of it. If you have a good state which is not there, you bring it up. If it is already there, you grow it. This is a correlation of that 4. Okay? It's a correlation of 4, but you look at the way the Buddha said. Now he gives you an object to use for the 4 of them. The first one. What is striving by restraint? The word samvara is restraint. The one where you are, negativity hasn't come out, block it. Okay? And it deals with your sixth sense basis. Effectively, your sixth sense basis. So I use one of them. Call it the form. Your eye. The eye. Catching sight of one form. Having seen a form with the eye, a bhikkhu does not grasp nimitta anubhyajana. Nimitta, which has been translated as marks, Anubhyajana has been translated as features. Let me explain this. When you see something, first you get a form, right? You have a form. You look at it more closely, you see the details. This particular one is a practitioner. Remember, this is practitioner. This is how you're supposed to do it. When you see something, you don't even see the details. You don't see it's a state, think of it as a state of seeing. When your mind is in a state of seeing, the mind sees an object and doesn't register the features of the object because it's more into seeing. I explain again. When you are caught up with object, when you are caught up with an object, you will look at the object and you are caught up with the object. But in this particular state, you will not look at the object, you're looking at the mind looking at the object. And when you see the mind seeing the object, when you see seeing, the object you know is there, but you are not paying attention to it. So you are being aware, you are aware, you can see things, you can hear things, but you're not caught up by the objects. And you are aware that you are seeing. That's all. Okay.
Yeah, no thoughts.
No thoughts.
I see a bag. It's a bag. It's a bag. It's a bag.
You see a bag and you see seeing a bag.
Yes. I like it. I like the color.
Then you have gone into the bag. Then you have gone into the bag. This,
What? Is it a paradise?
then you have gone into the Anubhyajana of the bag. See what I'm saying? Okay? If you were to merely know that you are seeing a bag, you know you're seeing a bag, but you are not even interested in looking closely at that bag. You know you're seeing a bag, but that's it.
No desire.
Don't have, at this point don't have. Because you are seeing a mind seeing a bag. Seeing, okay? And when you see seeing, you are not caught up with the bag. You know it's a bag, but you are not even looking at that bag. You just register a bag, that's it. But if you look at the bag, now you see the bag. And then now you see the price tag. And you see the brand name. Then you have gotten into not just nimitta. Nimitta is just seeing the bag. Okay? But if you had gone into what's in the bag, let's examine the details. Then you have gone into the Anubhyajana, into the details. Okay? And the Buddha went on to say, since if he left the eye faculty unrestrained, bad, the word is bad, but the Pali word is the word papaka, which is evil. And the other Pali word, unwholesome, written here, he used akusala. Longing and dejection, the word the Buddha used, abhijja dommanassa. Abhijja, remember what I said earlier about the 10 negative, the 10 akusala acts? And I said the mind, 3 of them. The first one, covetousness, is abhijja. Okay? So, what the Buddha is saying is, if you are always looking at objects and get yourself drawn into object instead of seeing, the mental state of seeing, but instead you are always looking at object, getting caught up with object, it means your eye faculty is not guarded. You're not guarding your eye faculty. And when you don't guard your eye faculty, the possibility is you will get caught up. And when you get caught up, you will feel emotional angst. Abhijja is you want it. When something you're not guarding, your instinct is to want it. Brother back, you want it. And when you want it and you don't get it, domanassa, grief. Very strong words. Buddha used very strong words. Abhijja, domanassa, very strong words. Okay? Might invade him, may or may not. If you don't guard your eye faculty, how do you guard your eye faculty? Seeing. Remember that. So what does it mean? Again, I shall repeat. When you're just watching something, instead of being caught up with the object, you're actually aware of yourself observing object. It's a mental state, okay? That particular mental state, for those of you who experience it, is a beautiful, quiet mental state, yes? It's a quiet one. That's the one where it is possible for you to guard the sense basis. So in the same way, example, food. Food, usually not seeing, but salivating. Okay? Nice food, assuming nice food. Okay? So you need to see yourself observing food. In other words, you have to see yourself being interested in food. You have to see there is growing desire, there is watching, there is desire. You have to see that. Then you can see whether you can let go or not. No? So the part where you can let go is when right at the start point, you seeing food. That's it. It's a mental state. It's a particular mental state. Just before you get into the food and get drawn in already. Does it make sense? Okay. Isn't it brilliant, the Buddha? So, at that mental state, when you can...
Sorry, I see the object.
It's okay. At the mental state where you can see seeing is the mental state where you can guard your faculties best. That is a time when you wouldn't get so caught up that you want and it hurts when you don't get it. So let me read the whole thing to you. What is striving by restraint? Here, having seen a form with the eye, the bhikkhu does not grasp its marks, nimitta, and features, anubhyajana, secondary features. Since if he left the eye faculty unrestrained, meaning he is not seeing things in that particular frame of mind, bad, unwholesome states of longing and dejection might invade him. They will ram into him. If you are unguarded, the instinct to crave, the instinct to want, and therefore the sense of dukkha is very fast. Invade. They will overwhelm you very fast. So therefore, you practice restraint over it. You guard the mind, the eye faculty. You undertake the restraint of the eye faculty. I love Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. It's Chun one. Very accurate. Practices restraint. Practices restraint means you got to do it again and again. Guard. To guard is to be protective. So you've got to practice and you've got to remember that it is important to protect. And you want to do it. Undertake the restraint. You want to do it. So you have to see that this has to be done. See what I'm saying? You have to see that this has to be done. You have to practice doing it because it's not a habit. And then you do it when you do remember. Because the seeing state is not normal. It's not usual. When it becomes a habit, it's very normal. It comes on very spontaneously. But when it is not a habit, when you haven't practiced enough meditation, it's very difficult to get to the state. But I know some of you know what it is because I can see the understanding in your eyes. Okay? You know what it is. You're not sure perhaps? After this class, we can discuss this with the camera off. We can discuss this. But you have to understand that this is a mental state where you can see seeing, and a mental state that you need to practice developing on a daily basis. And it's non-negotiable because this is part of the practice. I haven't got to the part why this is important, but this is important, okay? Now, we go on to the next one, right? The first one says you block. The second one says you let go. The Pali word is pahana, okay? Pahana is to abandon, to let go. What is it that you have to let go? And here the Buddha said, does not tolerate, na adi wait sati. Wasiti. Does not even allow, does not even put up with it. No tolerate. And a reason, sensual thought. Kama vitaka. Remember vitaka? Vitaka, vichara, everybody gets all this hang up of vitaka. Vitaka is thought. The arising of a thought. Kama, look at the subsequent ones. Kama, Byapada, Vihimsa. What were those three words? In your Eightfold Path, the first one says samaditi, right understanding. The second one says samasankappa, right thought. In right thought, there are three things. Nekkhamma, renunciation. Vyapada, aveyapada, no ill will. Avihimsa, no cruelty. They are the three. So, on a daily basis, when there is an arising of craving, wanting, kamma vitaka means a thought that is linked to sense delight. Sense delight, you must let it go. Here the Buddha says, because he's talking to bhikkhus, you have to let it go. When there is the arising of ill will, you have to let it go. Let it go. If there is the arising of instinct to beat up someone, cruelty, you have to let it go. They are all to do with the two critical things. One, to do with craving. The other one, to do with ego. A bhikkhu, a practitioner, has to let go of craving and ego. The I. You are cruel when the I is in the picture. You will never use a nasty word on another person deliberately if the fellow has not punctured your ego. Many a times when we scold someone or we beat back, it's because we feel slighted. The ego got hurt. Otherwise, you're not cruel. By instincts, we're actually not nasty people. Or at least this class not nasty people lah. By instinct. But likewise, someone who is instinctively nasty, chances are the ego super big lah. Super big. Cannot tahan anybody not showing proper respect. So becomes nasty. Here, the Buddha is reminding practitioner that it's very easy for us on a day-to-day basis for the arising of attachment to visual delight, audio delight, taste delight, and so on and so forth. So the first step you fail already, that's why the second step comes in. It's because you fail in samvara, so you now need to do the pahana. You get what I'm saying? If you had seeing, there will not be the arising of craving ma. But because your seeing tak pakai, no standard, right? So seeing, then you cannot invaded already. Invasion of the worst kind came in, then you got attached to your KFC. Right? So now you have to kama vitaka, let it go. See that? The first one failed, second one must back up. Goalkeeper come in. Okay? So this is your goalkeeper lah. And now look at what the Buddha say about how to let go. That's what I want to draw your attention to. He used the word pahana, abandon. Vinodeti. Vinodeti is to remove. Okay? The difference between abandon is to just let go. But the other one is to remove. You have to pull and you drop. It gets harder and harder. It gets more and fiercer. After that it says Byanti karoti. Anti is end. Karoti is make end. So terminate lo. Okay. And the last one, bhava, is to develop. And the bhava is not to have it come out at all. So, translation, obliterates. You can just imagine the word is not the same. The first word is just let go. The second one is 斩草不除根，春风吹又生. Okay, remove. Then the next one says you make sure no roots come out. The last one, oblique, you put salt there. Put salt. Never ever. The idea here is it gets more and more tense. That you must put in the effort, and that in the effort that you put in, if this thing is going to overwhelm you, you got to try your darnest best to do it. Try your best to do it. And it gets intense, you just whack, okay? Does not even tolerate. The next one, biar pada. No ill will and no thought of harming. For a practitioner, these instincts have to be cultivated. So in your day-to-day life, if you find yourself, you can see the arising of annoyance, right? You take this annoyance, you put it there, you take a hammer, obliterates, right? You actually erased it. No ill will, just jam it there, stop it. But this is a thought. You see, the word is vitaka. Vitaka is a thought. It means to say you are still in control. I tell you, it's brilliant. Basically, what he's saying is, all this so-called instincts, they are thoughts. You created them. The reason why they took on a life of their own is because you think about them. Ill will that pops up, if you had jammed it at the door, it would have stopped there. But no, sometimes we think about them. This guy is so annoying because, and then you think about it, right? It will then grow. Then you realize that you are doing it wrong already. Then you're going to let it go. You have to stop it. You see that? It is not just the arising of the sensation of ill will. The word here is vitaka. Viyapada, vitaka. So it is a case where there may be an arising of annoyance, but you went to think about it. You give it fuel, it comes alive. Now that it has come alive, you are obliged to stop it. If you're a practitioner, you will stop it. You don't think about it. You let it go. So it starts with you let it go. Then the thought comes up. You will then remove it. Then the thought continues. You will kill it. And then you will salt it. See that? They are thoughts. They are alive. They proliferate. If you cannot stop it right at the start, then it gets harder and harder. Then you start jamming it, you start beating it up. That's why the words gets tougher and tougher, you see. And the Buddha told his practitioner monk, there's no two way about it. You should not have let it come up. It's because you failed to guard your sense bases properly. They all came up. Then now you have to get rid of them. Okay? Now comes the growing part. Bhavana, development, growing. Okay? And what must a practitioner grow? The 7 factors of enlightenment. You are a practitioner. You're a practitioner. You want to bring up in your daily life. You want to bring up. They are not natural. You bring it up. You want to bring up mindfulness, the instinct of the mind to reflect on Dhamma, investigation Dhamma. When you investigate, you develop energy. You get energetic. Yes, I will practice. I will block negativity. I will develop positivities. You get inspired. The more you reflect on Dhamma, the more inspired you are. And then when you are inspired of all this energy, you're very energetic, you have got PT, the delight will start. When you reflect on Dhamma in daily life, your delight will begin if you do it right. So if there is mindfulness, the mind is calm. And example, suppose let's say something bad happens. Your house got flooded. Come into the door, your mind is disturbed, but suddenly there is a mindfulness. There's a sudden awareness of a mindfulness. Okay, flooded, let's see what we can do about this. You're aware of being mindful. And then you reflect, hey, 1 minute I was annoyed, next minute I feel better. This is really quite anicca. It's impermanent. See, my mental state just go in and out, impermanent. You derive a sense of, this is Dhamma. How beautiful is Dhamma. The joy arises. And the joy arises, the mind calms down. This is a time when your mind becomes concentrated. When you are in that state and you are upeka, sui liao. This is when you sit and meditate, you see more Dhamma. You see that? So Buddha basically told the practitioner monk that on a daily basis, this state, this complete 7-part series state should be a part of your life instinctively. Okay? And you want to bring it up. If you don't have it, you bring it up. The last one. Forget about the cops and all. Since we are not working in a hospital, very difficult to look for cops. Actually, the main thing is the word object of concentration. Nimitta samadhi, the Buddha's word for it. Basically, in your daily life, if you have instinctively an object of concentration, it might well be just breath. It may well be just breath. You think about it, okay? If let's say you use breath as an object of focus, right? Imagine your daily life, you just sit. The moment you see your breath, your mind is calm. The moment you see it, the mind is calm. He needs you to constantly build that. Or if you were to use metta as the meditation object, right? The moment your mind is quiet, metta comes up. Build it. Why are you doing all these things? Why do you want to have this kind of striving? Because collectively, it enables your mind to quieten down and get it ready to see Dhamma. Collectively. Together, when these things are practiced, if you can do the restraint, you can let go, the pahana, you can do your bhavana, the development of the 7 factors of enlightenment. If you have an object that you can concentrate, and in normal daily life, your mind can actually go there and stay there quiet. You have all these things done properly, your viriya is good. The viriya part is good. Okay? And this is where the mind, under normal circumstances, will grow spiritually. Okay? How do you bring up this energy of viriya? That's the next one. Hey, my sister, very good, eh? Pass. What bhikkhu is the faculty of viriya? What is this faculty of viriya? The energy. The noble disciple dwells with the energy aroused for the abandoning of unwholesome state and the acquisition of wholesome ones. The word is strong, firm in exertion, not shirking the responsibility. The energy you need to bring up and keep it flowing, keep it strong, don't give up, and you are mindful that it is important to do it like that. The responsibility. You have to understand that in this practice, all these has to be done. You need to get, actually, I kid you not, you really got to memorize these things, get it into your system, memorize it. I do that. And then in your daily life, right, you see the arising of something, you know what you're supposed to do already. You walk as you walk. I was doing this in a shopping mall today. I went for lunch. But I was just thinking, you know, as you are walking, you can actually go into a state of seeing, and all these shops don't matter. They're just there. People don't matter. I probably missed don't know how many of my colleagues didn't even realize they were there. But you're just walking, and you see, which is why the monks, when they go for alms, right practitioners, they take their bowl, and they just look ahead and they walk. This is seeing. This is guarding their faculties. They're not seeing anything else. So it's like you see and yet not see, but you are aware of seeing. Okay? And you do the same for all your faculties. So that is restraint. And then comes the letting go. It's letting go of your ill will, letting go of your craving for sense objects, letting go of the ego. That's all. You see the arising, you obliterate it, just kill it, let it go. Usually, for me, letting go can. No need to kill it. Stop. No need. You just let it go. It will go away. Because why? Because if you know it has to be done for your own meditation, for your own practice, you know it has to be done. You feel obliged to do it, then you will do it. That's why the word, the responsibility of it. If you don't feel obliged to do it, right, it's okay. Never mind. Then never mind lah. You won't do it lah. It's not your responsibility mah. Bukuan. Whereas I feel it very intensely that I need to do it. It has to be done. If it's not done correctly, I can't meditate properly that night. And then you do it. Okay? Okay. The next one, Samyutta Nikaya under nutriment, specifically on Viriya, Buddha said, what is the nutriment for the arising of Viriya? If you don't have Viriya, what can help to bring it up? And he said, you need to first go and stir it. Arousal. Aramba. The word aramba. Dhatu is, dhatu means element. Aramba is just arouse. Okay? Stir it up. That's why I said Viriya got 3 parts. Stir it, keep it going, and wham it. He is so sharp, right? He is seeing the energy as it comes up. Get it? For us, we hear the word Viriya, energy, we just say energy, striving, effort. You don't realize that there is a process. It starts small, it becomes bigger, and it has to get bigger, then it can be sustained. Like a tsunami, whatever. But first, it has to be stirred up. So, suppose, let's say, you think about your own life, right? Some days you don't feel like meditating, yes? I mean, most days you all want to meditate, of course. But some days you don't feel like lah. So what do you have to do? You have to stir it. Must go, I must go. I really must do it. So you sit. I will do it. And then you start. And then I will do it. Because now your energy start already. Get it? So it's like starting the car. Boom, boom, then you, that's where you're 4th gear. Okay? And he says, there are bhikkhu the element of arousal, the element of endeavor, means you try, the element of exertion. I am sorry, I went to check the dictionary, the words are like that, okay? Frequently giving careful attention, this is the part I need you to understand, giving careful attention to them is the nutriment for the arising of the unarisen enlightenment factor of energy and the fulfillment by development of the arisen enlightenment factor of energy. So you stir it up. After you stir it up, you watch the energy. You observe the energy. Why do you want to do that? Because when you see it, you feel more inspired by it. If you feel energized, you look at energy, you will have more energy. If you have joy, you look at joy, the joy will grow. You understand? If you have joy and you don't pay attention to joy, joy is going away. It will fade away. Which is why when there is negativity, actually one way of dealing with negativity is you ignore it. Slap it aside. Don't pay attention to it. Then it will lose energy. If you get angry with someone, don't think about the thought, it will die. If you get angry with someone and you think about it, you think about it, think about it, then it will become tsunami.
Wrong energy.
Wrong energy, exactly. Okay? You know, when I read this and when I was going through this, right, the only thing I kept thinking is, how in the world a man 2,500 years ago be so enlightened? This is almost talking like a modern man, you know. It's almost talking like a man of the 21st century, and we will call this man an enlightened gentleman. But this is so many years ago. And then he went on, and this is the final part of the talk this evening. Why are we having all these conversations about Sīla, about effort? Why is this effort all about doing the right thing, not doing the bad thing, keeping the mental space clean? And it is this conversation. This is the important conversation that you need to understand. Ananda asking Buddha, what is the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior? Why do you want to observe Sīla? Why do you want to observe the right effort? Okay? Buddha replied, Ananda, purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior is non-regret. I put in the Pali word just for the heck of it. Non-regret. Okay? Then Ananda asked, what is the purpose and benefit of non-regret? But Buddha said, the purpose and benefit of non-regret is joy. In other words, if your conscience is free, you will have a sense of joy. Your heart is clear. Okay? When your heart is clear, you can experience a state of tranquility, quietness. When you have tranquility, then you have within you happiness, delight. Okay? With the delight, with this happiness, then only then the mind can concentrate. Samadhi. Only then can the mind concentrate. Which is why if you are depressed, the mind cannot concentrate. People who are depressed, you ask them to meditate, you want them to go, it's going to be very problematic. They can't concentrate. Instead, all they're seeing is pain, 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 pain. They go crazy seeing pain. So that's why in this practice, you have to start off with developing the joy first. And once you develop the joy, the mind gets quiet, it's happy. It's happy, it can sit. It can sit, it can focus. It can focus, the rest will come. The purpose of this, I kept saying that we need to prepare the mind, is because of this. When the mind can concentrate, it's a particular type of concentration, you will have Yatha Bhutta Jnana Dasana. Yatha Bhutta is things as they really are. Jnana is knowledge, Dasana is vision. So, if you can concentrate properly, the mind is quiet. When it looks at the mind can see itself as it really is. Objectively, quietly, without all kinds of thought construction, it's seeing itself. Part 2 of the lecture will say what that seeing things you're supposed to see. Okay? Here I'm telling you what will happen to the mind that can concentrate. So a mind that's concentrate gets to a state where it's quiet and it can see itself, the mind itself, for what it is. And once you can see that, Nibbida Viraga will happen. Nibbida aversion, disgust, wariness, sian happens. Viragga, you turn away. So this is how it looks. You see the mind as it is, and you keep seeing the mind as it is. At some point, the mind by itself will get tired, fed up, not interested. It will turn away. It will turn away. I kept saying the example, I used the example of you eat, what was the example I used? Mee siam. You eat mee siam, 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate. By the 4th plate, you tired already. You sian already. Sian already, you turn away, right? Then you turn away, are you going to be obsessed about mee siam again? No more obsession already. Mee siam, oh, no, not interested. Not interested. Start laksa. Whatever. No, the point is, in our daily life, our mind chase after object. Okay? In this meditation mind, when the mind is very quiet, it doesn't chase. It sits there and keep watching craving. Watch. Actually, this is you're using the mind to watch craving energy in the mind. You're using it to watch the craving energy in the mind. You keep seeing the arising, the energy. Keep seeing it. See until the mind got tired of that particular type of sensation, and then it's not scared of it anymore. It's not interested. It will turn away from craving. It turns away from craving by itself. Okay? And then because it turned away, that's why you have Vimutti Jnana Dasana. This is what you want. Vimutti Jnana Dasana. The whole path, enlightenment, is about this, the last bit. The knowledge and the vision of, voila. I really got sound effect here. Liberation, a freed mind. Vimutti, the mind is free. Nibbana, this is Nibbana. The mind is very happy. It's free. So what it tells you is there is a process that takes the mind from the mundane mind that we are familiar with to a mind that is free, happy, rejoiced by itself, the joy that stems from within the mind. Creates by itself, generates, self-generating one. No need the world to go and, I give you promotion, then you're happy. I give you money, then you're happy. I sayang you, you're happy. You don't need any of this. It feeds itself. And it's no craving. It's because there's no craving that it is so free. Okay? Now, this comes from Book of 10. Hey, hello. See that? The Book of 10. What purpose? Okay, sorry. 错怪了你，真是的。
So you earlier on you mentioned about the 10 factors, am I right? Dana, Sīla, and so on. And that's more to do with action.
Those have to do with the preparation bit. They're all preparation. For a practitioner, you go through a process of growth. So when you first set off, you try to do these things. Okay? Then when you become more and more of a practitioner, those things become second nature already. It becomes part of habit. You will just do it because you just want to do it like that. Okay? And as you are doing these things, your mind will start to grow. Because it starts to calm down, it starts to be happier, it starts to be able to meditate, it starts to be able to see itself. When it starts to see itself, it gets even more settled. It's a iterative process. It will grow and it will walk, and it will grow and it will walk. It's an iterative process, okay? And then as it starts to grow and starts to calm down, you will also begin to realize why you have to do it like that. What is the benefit? Why you have to do it like this? Why is the path like that? Why are the prescriptions like this? Now, for some of you, right now, whatever I'm saying is based on prescription. As you walk this path and you begin to understand the principle underpinning why it must be done like this, as you start to understand, then it becomes second nature, right? And when it becomes second nature, you will know it has to be like that. This is how my mind will grow. And as you see your mind grow, you get even more inspired by the path and the way it's prescribed. And you will then do it spontaneously. No need the rules with the precepts. What precepts? The life is just like that. It becomes second nature. Okay?
Yeah, I got it. Because I need to make a link from what you said earlier on to right now.
Okay.
And I saw the link because that is the is the foundation.
Exactly.
So when you sort of have inculcated that,
Yes.
then you go on to the mind.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Okay?
But when you're tested, you still have to go back to the foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's solid now.
Yes. Because you understand the foundation. Okay? Foundation must rest on something solid.
It's a fun.
Okay. No, that's where action starts. Because now you understand the action will start. Okay? The noble disciple who is completely dedicated to the Tathagata and has full confidence in him does not doubt Buddha or his teaching. The last time we talked about Saddha. This is the start point. You see that? So the Buddha essentially is saying, if you understand and your Saddha is solid, it is a very powerful and important springboard to the next level. It's a springboard. And it cannot be an empty Saddha. The last time we say it has to be built on a correct foundation. And the correct foundation is a very mundane, simple understanding of the application of the Four Noble Truths in your life. Everything he said, it makes a simple, obvious link in your own life. That's your foundation. And once you see that simple foundation, you say, yes, Buddha's words make a lot of sense. I want to do something about it. So you start. You start with all your restraint. You start with all your controlling what are the negativities, what are the positivities. You start to do that, and you start to see yourself becoming calmer, becoming happier, your mind becoming more quiet. Only start point. This is all start point. But enough to give you confidence. To say, he's right. Whatever he say, up to this point, still chun. Okay? So, it is to be expected that he who has faith will dwell with energy aroused for doing the following things. That's the reason why this lecture has to be Viriya, you see. Because you have faith, with faith you say, I will do what he says must be done. So I will arouse the energy to clean up the mental space. Because if you don't clean up the mental space, you can't get to the next part. He who has faith and has energy will be mindful. And with mindfulness established, he will gain concentration. With the correct type of concentration, he will understand. Okay? These 5 things are what you call the 5 faculties or the 5 power. Same. The 5 of them together, you can see. One set. They must be one set. Cannot pick and choose. I think I need to Saddha this life. Well, you need 5 lives to do the rest. You will not get to the rest. By the way, if you say, this life I do only Saddha, right? Next life I will start with Viriya. It won't happen. Next time you start again Saddha. Because by then you forgot already, ma. What is Saddha? What is Saddha? Huh? You're going to start all over again. So this life you've got to do all 5. Okay? All 5 has to be done. So ultimately, Viriya is about keeping the mental space pure, positive, because they are fundamentally necessary for your meditation and your concentration. And without this meditation and without this concentration, there's no way you can see the mind as it is. Seeing the mind as it is not the end of the story. Okay, you must always remember that. Seeing the mind as it is means, if you understand it correctly, it means you can let it go. Your mind can turn. If you don't see the mind as it is, all your effort to let go will dissipate one. It cannot be sustained. Means it start, stop. Your car is not going very far. Lah. It's on the AYE where you can go at 80, you go at 20. Then everybody honk.
Can I ask you for clarification?
Sure.
What do you mean by the mental space?
Your mind. Mental space is essentially the mind. But I call it a mental space because the mind sounds very cluttered, you see. A lot of activities. Whereas for me, as a practitioner, the mind is not so cluttered. There are not so much activities. There's not so many arising of thoughts. When there are many thoughts, your mind space is crowded. It's busy and you can't see the space. Think of it like this room, okay? This is your mind. If you throw everything out, but keep Buddha here, everything else you throw out, you throw everything out, you can see the floor space, you see? It's empty. Then whatever enters, you can tell. And you know how to lock the unnecessary one out, and you can let the necessary one in. You know it. But if you are so crowded, right, so many thoughts, so disturbed, you sampapalapa, all the time, then this space has got so many things, you can't even see the floor. You didn't even know it's so nice and white. All you see is just a lot of plastic bag everywhere. It's a mess. No space. No space, no practice. Too crowded. Does it make sense?
The words are all interlinked.
Yes.
Mindful,
Yes.
concentration,
Yes.
energy.
Yes. They are all interlinked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all part of the mental space.
Yes. It is to create the correct mental space. Okay? The last part you can read by yourself. It's both a tool and a condition of the mind. Can you see that?
Yes.
It is a tool necessary for the practice, and it's there as a condition in the mind. Create the correct condition, you will be able to practice. Okay? Any other question? Can you see how important the Viriya is? If you, on a daily basis, if you're not even making an attempt to clean up the mind, clean up the mental space, and you allow a lot of clutter to develop, a lot of anger, a lot of pain, a lot of craving, a lot of restlessness, right? What happens is that the mind becomes very restless. The mind has a lot of disturbance. When you sit to meditate, right, you spend a lot of time trying to calm down all the disturbances, and you don't get it calmed down properly either. You may end up chasing after stray thoughts. They say, no, come back. Watch the breath. I haven't sorted this one yet. And then it runs off again. It's very obvious. But when you spend a whole day dropping all the anger, don't allow any negativities to come out, you have craving, okay, watch the mind. When you do that a lot, you sit that night, it's very easy for the mind to settle. Because it's used to the practice the whole day, it's used to your disciplining it the whole day, then it's easy to sit. When you sit, it will stay. The only thing about whether or not you will stay, you're able to sustain the meditation is whether you are sitting too late at night or end up sleeping. And then, you can focus very fast, right? what happens is that when you can focus, this is a talk for meditation, the meditation one, but just as a preamble, when you are very quiet the whole day, okay, then that night when you sit and you're tired because you sat late, you go into a concentration so fast, the delight is so strong you fall asleep. Happy. Happy, okay? Tomorrow wake up charged, but no wisdom. All you have is just a very charged mind, a very happy mind, but no wisdom. Because to have wisdom, you got to stay awake.
I thought you're so happy that you can't sleep.
It can turn both ways, okay? It can turn both ways. You can be happy and the energy surges and you will not sleep. It's bright and shiny. Or it will be so nice, so nice, so nice, so nice. Okay? It all depends on individual's practice. I notice that people who are more who have insomnia problem, they won't sleep. So meditation is actually very good for them. They because the mind doesn't need a lot of sleep. You see the poor guys. So assuming that you're insomnia but not disturbed. It's not that they have insomnia. Some people just don't need a lot. There are no people who need only 3 hours sleep. That's it, 3 hours. Okay. For these kind of people, meditation is solid because they won't sleep. In the end, to the very happy state, bright. Whereas for people with no insomnia, right, the sort who 5 minutes go to bed, stare. Those type, the ones who sleep very easily, when you sit meditation, right, same. You're going to sit and very easily fall asleep. But my advice to them, my advice to people who are the lucky ones who fall asleep easily, is sleep. Sit up and sleep. Okay? Then when you wake up, continue. This time around you won't sleep. The mind is satisfied already. When you sleep the first time round, try to tell your mind, I give you 10 minutes to rest. So that you don't have to sit 3 hours. But it is important to meditate. I cannot emphasize this enough. You want to see Nibbana, right? Or you want what? Next life, let's start. This life do Sadha. Next life do Viriya. The following life do what? Concentration. By then forgot everything. Start again. Next. Cannot. Has to be done all one shot.
But then you see, regarding this Viriya, right? Energy and effort. In the Noble Eightfold Path, effort is the thing, right? So Viriya part of effort.
Viriya is effort.
That's effort, right?
Yeah.
So I see, like, it's related to
Same.
effort. Same, right?
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Vayama, same.
Because of the effort, the energy to push.
No, this right effort is the same one. Yeah,
one.
same as this one.
No, I see that you look at this one, 4 effort, second of the indie.
Yes.
No, I look at it, it should be. I think it's the same, right?
It is the same. You see, you look at what I wrote there, right? 4 right effort. The first one says 4 right effort. The second one idipada. The second one of indriya. Second one of bala. The third one of bhujanga. Bhujanga because why? Mindfulness, Dhamma, the Dhamma investigation, and Viriya. That's the third one. And then you see 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of the Eightfold Path. That's how. 3rd one is right action, 4th one right speech, 5th one right livelihood, 6th one right effort. It's not even funny, you know. This Viriya is everywhere.
You need the energy,
No, it's not the energy, it's the energy for what? And the energy for controlling the mental space, cleaning it up. The energy for cleaning up your mental space. It's not energy to chong, it's the energy to spring clean.
Actually, when you talk about energy, it's the same as determination.
Buddha didn't use the word determination. It's not.
It's not the same.
Buddha used the word energy. Adittana is determination. Adittana. But he didn't use adittana for these guys. He used the word viriya. What's the difference? Adittana is only one type of viriya.
So you must want to do it.
Aditana is
You must
only a
actually
one.
force yourself
Exactly.
to concentrate and you actually want to do, so you're determined to pursue something.
Aditana is one thing. One thing. Okay? So Chanda is a form of one thing. I want to get it done. I need to get it done. I will insist on getting it done. That's Aditana. This one is Viriya. It's a resource. It is an energy. It is the drive. Then the drive to do what? The drive to keep the mental space clean. This is just energy. It's Duracell battery.
So you must have that to kickstart the
Which one?
energy, the determination that
No.
you must start from there.
Well, therefore, it's only one part of it.
Correct, yes.
Ah.
It's not the same. So you
Correct.
need
The
to
part that you arouse it, lah.
Yes.
Arouse it, yes.
You need to be very focused and determined. I'm going to do this because I need to get the end stage. I must have this start. I must have a starting point. And then after that is energy, will keep it momentum. Will keep
That
going.
one is Chanda. Chanda, the wanting to get it done. It's a form of Chanda. Okay? You can think of it like this. As I said, this is Duracell battery. But your Duracell battery can put where? Where do you want to put your Duracell battery? Here the Buddha said, put this Duracell battery on keeping your mental space clean. Put this Duracell battery on cleaning up the space. So you say, I want to put the Duracell battery in cleaning. That one is only a start point. But you can want and not go anywhere. If you have no Duracell battery, right? You say, I want to do it. Then I got no battery. Then we can. You understand what I'm saying? So the one thing, you have to pack it with this Duracell battery lah. And then it goes. So one thing is not enough. You must have the energy. And the energy is self-generated. It's generated by desire lah. You generate by desire. Because he says, generate desire for something. So you're correct in that sense. Okay? So the bottom line is, you see, in your daily life, first you must believe that you have to be a nice person. You have to clean up the space. You have to let go of your anger. You have to let go of your craving and all those things. Okay? First, you say, I have to do it. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes I get caught up. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm not mindful, etc., etc. But I recognize it has to be done. So that's the first step. You have wisdom or not? Can you recognize it has to be done? So you say, now I recognize it has to be done. Am I doing it? And if I recognize that it has to be done, and I'm trying to do it, am I doing it right? How do I know I'm doing it right? Buddha provides the list. There are 4 of them. Not difficult to remember. Restrain, let go, develop, protect. Anurakha, protect. So do all these things so that the mind can get into a quiet state and it can see things as they are. I keep saying this thing about seeing things as they are, and we are only at lecture 2. The reality is only lecture 2. Saddha is 1, Viriya is 2. I didn't do anything else, right? No. There are many more, right? So the question is, how come 2 already I can see how my mind is supposed to grow? What about the rest? The rest is to teach you how to see things as they are. These 2 is to prepare the mind. Some of the others are meant to teach you how to see things as they are. Those are skills, specific type of skills, specific cognitive skills required for this journey. And we need to go through that one carefully. Okay?